So we're in a creative world because I'm going to be starting a different series, which is a kind of tutorial series, and I'm going to call it How to Build. And I'm going to do a bunch of different how to builds. They're going to be fun. So basically the first one, it's going to be, I think I'm going to do a how to build medieval version. Now when you're building medieval, you want to go for a sort of, you want stone and wood are probably going to be your main principal materials that you're going to want to use. Now some stone doesn't go well in medieval builds, it makes it look a bit too modern, like smooth stone for example. But here's some block palettes that you can use with stone that I think look very, very good. First of all, we've got stone bricks, and then we've just got normal stone. Then as we move along here, we've got cobblestone, we've got normal stone. We've got stone bricks and cobblestone. And then if we go over here, we have got chiseled stone and polished andesite. Now the reason I've chosen these two blocks is because I feel like they're more of a posh, like, block palette that you can maybe use in castle builds, which I know are very common in medieval builds. Castle's probably one of the main things that you're going to be building if you're in the medieval genre. So chiseled stone and polished andesite are great blocks to kind of like round things off, put them at the top or the bottom of your structures just to make them look a bit more like firm. Then if we go over here, I've put some blackstone. Now I've never built out of blackstone yet because I've never really found the space or what to put it in. But if you're going for a more dark, maybe fantastical, medieval, you know, like fantasy kind of builds that's meant to be dark, it's meant to have like, it's meant to be mysterious, you could go for a more black look. So we've got the blackstone blocks in here. And then over here, this is the type of wood that you're going to probably want to use. Now, there are 3 woods that I would recommend for medieval. The best ones that you can use is definitely spruce logs especially, and then in terms of planks, it would be dark oak. But if you want to go for a more lighter, maybe a bit more cheerful, like little village, town sort of area, oak planks and oak logs definitely do go well with that kind of area. But I mainly build out of these blocks here if I'm going for a castle or a tower or whatever I'm going to build in my medieval place. And in medieval, there are certain things that you want to keep to, and that's probably lanterns, shroom lights to mix it up a bit, and then actual fire. Now only use fire if you've got fire spread off, or otherwise bad things can happen. I'm just going to go through a few designs that you can put in your builds to light them up a bit, and yeah. Here we've got just a casual lantern on a chain that you can hang from a roof maybe, or from coming out, protruding from a wall. Here I've put shroom lights, and then just to give them a bit more of an accent around them, I've added dark oak trapdoors. Here we've got, now this could be like some sort of fire pit. We've got fire there, netherrack underneath to keep the fire going. But if you do have fire spread off, which is the only way you'd use fire, it would just go on whatever block you wanted. I've put trapdoors around it just to make it look more, you know, firm on where it's standing. And then, because you can actually put chains into fire, you can also just keep them on top of it, so it looks like they're going in through the fire. And you can use that as hanging, again, from a wall or from the roof, so this looks quite good. Here, campfires I've used. These are quite good, but I like to keep them hidden because campfires inside look a bit strange. It's only really outside that you're going to want to use campfires. So again, I've added trapdoors around them, around it to make it look a bit better. And then there's smoke coming out of it that adds a good effect, adds a bit more life to your builds. Over here, we've got a chandelier. Now, this isn't my finest chandelier. I didn't really put much effort into this, to be honest. But it's kind of just like showing what blocks you can use. Grey glass panes do look good for a chandelier, and then I've put a shroom light in there from a chain that's the actual lighting source. You can use white or dark grey, and maybe even black if you are going for that dark look that I showed over there with the black stone. But yeah, this looks quite good. And then red also can go well for glass, maybe not in chandeliers, but for windows. Moving on, we have just another hanging lamp thing from a chain onto these little stone walls. Then after that, we've got this kind of thing on the floor. It's like a fire pit, another fire pit that you can put maybe along a path or in a hallway or wherever you want. Then over here, it's another hanging lantern, but this time I've added a grindstone to make it look a bit more complicated, and some chiseled stone up there. This is just your average lamppost except with fire. It's just implanted into the floor. Next up here we have another lamppost design, except it's a double one, so it's a bit bigger, but it does the job nicely. Then over here, it's sort of a fence thing to light up any fences that you want. I've added the iron bars in between the stone, and then the fire with the trapdoors around it again. So here, to start things off, we've got sort of like a little miniature farm area. I've added a campfire back here, hay, then I've got some form of lamppost or whatever you want to call this thing. Then we've got pumpkins. I really like pumpkins in agriculture. And spruce leaves, they are really good for greenery. I really like these blocks. And then I've just added a bit of ground texturing around the place, coarse dirt and grass paths. Next up, we've got an inside little scene here. Now these are really good blocks that can be used for detail in medieval. I've added some wood, some stripped spruce around the side, textured the stone up a bit, cobblestone stone and polished andesite. And then I've added some barrels here, which I highly recommend over using chests for your storage. If you're in survival, though, use chests in your primary storage if you have a primary storage area. But barrels do look good dotted around the place. They look perfect for that kind of medieval look. And anvil here, cobwebs, and I've added a little grindstone on a chain thing. You can just muck around with whatever design you want with these kind of blocks. Next up, this is more of a castle-y look. It's kind of like a miniature throne room. So I've just used red carpet to lead up to the throne. It's just a very small miniature throne design. Armor stands at the side and trim lights for lighting. For walls, if you are building a castle, you want to add the most amount of detail possible. Detail is key to medieval. You don't want to leave a wall plain like this, it'll just get a bit boring. What I'm going to show is I'm going to show a wall that I've been designing for my mega base in survival in the Turtlecraft realm, season 2. If you don't want spoilers, then don't watch the next clip. So I'm going to show you what a medieval wall should look like, not this. This is a wall. This is a good example for a wall that I have put together. Now you can feel free to take ideas from this wall, mix it up, whatever you want to do with it. Also, one thing as you can see I did down here when I was designing this is I laid out blocks, every single block that I thought I was maybe going to use in the build. That's just a little tip for when you're building something like this. And also this behind here, this is nothing. You just ignore this. This isn't what the castle's going to look like. It's just draft one, you know. So yeah, as you can see, I've added all the detail that you could possibly want, textured it up, added the wood as an outline. What I like to do is, normally my stone's going to be the primary block, and then wood's going to, whatever kind of wood you want to use, is going to be your secondary block. So you do outlines and things like that, the frame with wood, frames of things with wood, and fill it in with stone. I've also added lighting wherever you could possibly want. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of lanterns. And just to cover a few more blocks that you may not have considered, building with in the first place. I have found that it's quite, I've never really seen this before. I watched one castle time lapse, and the person used coral in their build to texture, and it actually looks pretty cool. If I just add a few like coral blocks here and there, it almost looks, it does look like stone. So this is another block choice that you could use. Maybe try and texture a bit better than I've done here. It's a bit of a bad job, but I did it in like 2 seconds. Another thing, if you want to build some like kind of like colourful, fantastical fantasy castle, I like for a roof, don't use wood. Use blocks like these. Think out of the box a bit. Like colourful blocks, like red. This red terracotta would actually go very, very well, I've just realised, with dark oak, I think. So if I expand this could be like a little roof, and then add that around, and then I add some, maybe like some stone. So yeah, you can kind of see where I'm going with this kind of thing. Use colourful blocks for the roofs if you are going for that fantasy kind of like Dutch castle look. I find that looks really cool. It's just like a miniature castle, I guess, if you want to call it that. Try maybe use diorite as well. I quite like that. If you want this kind of like blocks, I would recommend watching B-Dubs, Season 7 of Hermitcraft. His base is exactly like this, and that is where I got all this inspiration from. Where is diorite? So yeah, diorite can look good. It's like a wall kind of thing going on. I like diorite, and again that goes well with dark oak. As I've found, dark oak does go well with a lot of things, doesn't it? So yeah, the whole thing is just about experimenting with blocks and what you're gonna use, and yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. So that is the end of this video. I don't know how long it'll turn out to be, but I hope you enjoyed it. It's my first ever kind of like tutorial build, and yeah, I hope it's good. I hope it helped you. Anyway, I'll see you hopefully in the next Turtlecraft episode. I'll be back in the realm soon, and yeah, I'll see you then. See ya, bye.